Welcome to the Cloth Diaper Podcast, a somewhat regular show dedicated to everything cloth diapering. Today we are talking about how to cloth diaper twins with a cloth diaper mom from the United States, Sophia. Today's show is show 38. You can find the show notes for the show at clothdiaperpodcast.com/show 38. Welcome back to the Cloth Diaper Podcast. This is the first show in a couple months, the first show of 2020, and I am excited to get back at going. I think this year I'm going to try to find the funds and the means to start recording and hiring a podcast editor. I absolutely love interviewing parents. I love talking with guests, but this editing process, it was what drags me down. There's just not enough times in the day or figuring it out. But I just wanted to let you know that if you're ever wondering, what's going on, it's purely, I am just a busy person who has taken on too many things. The Cloth Diaper Podcast is one of my favorite projects of all the different projects that I'm doing. It's just this editing part bores me completely. I was so excited to get a chance to chat with Sophia in 2019 about her cloth diapering journey and twins. I found her story to be really relevant? No. What do I mean? Comparable to cloth diapering 2 under 2. And many of the things that I kind of expected, she confirmed were kind of truths in the cloth diapering of twins journey. If you're new around here, I encourage you to subscribe to the Cloth Diaper Podcast wherever you are listening, whether that's on iTunes, Apple Podcasts, I guess that's the same thing, Spotify, or YouTube. The Cloth Diaper Podcast is sponsored by Humbird Diapers. Humbird Diapers are manufactured in Germany by a small team of work-at-home moms. From January 1st to January 7th, you can pre-order Humbird's wool collection and receive 10% off. Go to www.humbird.eu today to order your wool and check out what other options they have. Now, let's get on with the show. This is my interview with Sophia back in December of 2019. She will share with you where you can find her on the web, as she is a blogger and on Instagram at the end of the segment. If you're looking for the show notes, go to clothdiaperpodcast.com/show-38. You can also find all the other show notes and lots more information at clothdiaperpodcast.com. The website has been recently updated over the winter holidays.
So super basics. I'm a first-time mom, and I'm a twin mom. So
that was what my question was. I was wondering if you had experience before, or twins were your first.
Twins are my first. My name is Sophia, but twins run in my family, so I've seen twins kind of be raised before, but it's totally different when you're the one doing it.
I can imagine. My husband is a twin, and the stories I hear are insane. So
is he identical or fraternal?
Fraternal.
Okay.
I met his
twin brother, or?
Yeah, he's got a twin brother, and I met him the first time I met him. It was their birthday. It was his sister's birthday, and he came over. He was late, and I didn't get a proper introduction or anything. And then we left, and I got in the car, and I was like, "Who is that redhead who came to dinner?" And he was like, "That was my twin brother," and I was like. Who? No, they do not. They don't look anything alike. They're fraternal twins, but they were wild. 2 boys,
that's so
wild
funny.
Twins.
Yeah. My favorite is when I have a twin boy and a twin girl, and people ask me, "Are they identical?" I'm like, "No, they're definitely not identical." But yeah, they're about 7 months old now. So
okay,
it's been pretty wild.
And what part of the world are you in?
I'm outside of Washington, D.C.
Okay, so East Coast.
Yeah.
East Coast mom of twins. And what were you doing before you had kids?
Before I had kids, so right before I had kids, I was a tour guide in Washington, D.C. Okay. So I gave tours of the monuments, tours of some of the museums. I actually gave a tour called Politics and Pints, which was always interesting.
Okay.
But before that, I actually was working on my PhD in archaeology. But
okay. That's how you're in tour guides. You're well-versed in
Yes, I love history and archaeology, but So that's my background. My archaeology background, though, is totally different from American history. I worked in Sudan, so
Oh, yeah. Okay. So
yeah.
totally different. So not even
Yeah.
kind of related.
So it's completely different and funny. I've traveled everywhere, like Sudan, to do field work and stuff, but never has anything been more challenging than packing to travel with twins.
Oh, God.
Like, it was insane. I cloth diapered over Thanksgiving, and we were visiting family. So packing all of that stuff was a
and like
special
all of
time.
the stuff, like 7-month-olds are starting to become at like this high stuff stage of their life
Oh
as
my
well.
gosh. Yeah, I feel like because they still need all their infant stuff, but they also have all these toys that they're starting to get into. So
And they're transitioning to real food, and they're kind of like
yeah,
they're all in these like big transition phase at that age.
exactly.
Yeah, it's a tough time. Are you back to work now? Are you cloth diapering while working, or are you stay at home?
So I'm right now kind of working from home. I'm doing scoping for a court reporter for a lawyer. So basically editing court transcripts, making sure that all the dialogue is there and everything. But other than that, I'm blogging. I'm going to start teaching online. So I'm working from home basically,
Okay.
and cloth diapering. Yeah.
That kind of shapes the conversation in a way, right? Because the stay-at-home mom cloth diaper experience and the work-at-home mom cloth diaper experience can be a little bit different in
Yeah,
their needs,
definitely.
right? So
And
why was cloth diapering something that you considered?
well, not a lot of my friends, one of my friends cloth diapered. So yeah, one out of, I don't know how many friends I have. Honestly, when I told most of my friends I was cloth diapering, they're like, what are you thinking? What's wrong with you? You're having 2 kids. How are you going to do it?
Yeah.
But but so that was sort of my intro point to it. And she actually sent me a box of sort of her pre-loved cloth
Oh,
diapers. So I got a assortment of different types to test out, which was really nice of her.
that's
But
such a lovely thing for people to do.
oh my gosh, yeah. And she's actually having a kid now. She just is pregnant with her second kid. So I'm going to send her some cloth diapers I've discovered since she sent me those. So some of my new favorites. But she was the one who introduced me to the idea. And then after that, I'm kind of all about trying to be a little bit more environmentally friendly and saving money. Obviously, with twins is a big thing.
Oh yeah. So you knew you were having twins, and
Yeah.
then you decided that you would take up cloth diapering.
Yeah. Before I had them.
Before you
Yeah.
had them, but
Yep.
it wasn't a decision you had made before you got pregnant. Is what I
No, it wasn't. Yeah,
yeah.
I had expected to use disposables because I mean that's what my mom used. That's what
It's
my
just kind of
aunts
like
used.
what culture uses. It's like you don't even
Exactly.
think about it.
So, and
Yeah.
they've made so many leaps in cloth diapering that I feel like older generations, not really old generations, but like the generation right before us, don't really know about that much. They still think of just the sort
Yeah.
of overcomplicate what they see as overcomplicated
Yeah, because
cloth
my
diapering.
mother-in-law tried to cloth diaper with my husband, the twins. She didn't try it with the first, but for some reason she tried it with the twins. And yeah, so she talks about rubber
Oh
pants,
man.
talks about the horror of rubber pants and just like
Yes.
being so much work. And I was like, I know you had twins, but it's a totally different story these days. Like
Yeah.
rubber pants.
And
Were-
there's definitely ways that make it easier too, even now. So
So what does your stash for twins look like? So does that mean like you have a double stash? Like, does that mean you have a one and a
yeah.
half? Like, if somebody is thinking about, what would you tell them yours looks like?
So I have mostly all in twos and
Okay.
like covers and pre-folds so that I can use covers multiple times. So for me, that's a big thing because you already have, I mean, as a singleton mom, you already have a ton of laundry, but as a twin mom or a triplet mom, you're going to have at least double that plus the
Yeah.
cloth diapers, which is totally doable. But if you can save a little space in your laundry basket, that's so helpful.
That's an interesting thought.
Um,
Like the space.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, totally. So yeah, mostly all in twos and pre-folds and covers, but I'd say I probably have about 33 total
Okay. That's not
diapers.
bad.
Yeah, so
That's
I definitely could use more. But it's totally doable. And once we're, past the holidays, that's sort of on our wish list, a couple of new cloth diapers will be helpful.
I cloth diapered 2 under 2. And so so 2 in diapers, different kind of stage of life. One thing I always remember and like to tell people is that you can still only wash so many diapers at once.
Yeah,
so
exactly.
It doesn't matter if you're diapering 2 kids and you want to have a stash of 50 diapers. If only 20 diapers fit in your washing machine, you can only wash 20 diapers at a time. It just,
Exactly. No, totally. I would say for our washer about probably I could fit a few more diapers in there, but like the 33 is pushing it. So
it's nice to have like what your washer can hold plus a couple to make it through the day. And one really is what your kind of how a stash evolves to look like. Exactly. I really felt comfortable at like when I was cloth diapering at Singleton, I felt really comfortable with a stash of about 32 because I can hold about 24 in my machine. And I found that even with the 2 kids in diapers that again, like I was only ever using 32 diapers at a time. Like,
it's funny because you would think that you would need a double stash for 2 kids or for twins or whatever, but I don't know. I find that especially if you use covers, like some of the covers I have are like, Thirsties covers or whatever, and you just wipe off some of the moisture and then just throw another pre-fold on there and it's all good. And the all-in-twos I use are little helpers for the most part. So those are great. Just exchange the inserts.
And like you use the same diapers with both kids, right? I know that's a common question. Yeah,
I do, but it's funny because like you said, your husband's twin looks totally different from him. My twins are shaped totally differently.
Oh no.
So when they were first born, we had the rise snap to the smallest setting and used like the newborn, pack and everything for cloth diapering. But since then, now my boy is in the 90th percentile for height. Oh. And my girl's in the 10th percentile. So it's a little different. And actually something that I saw on, I think it was actually on the Little Helpers Unsnapped Facebook group, but I'm not sure, where somebody who didn't have twins, but they had 2 under 2. A hack that I kind of liked was using your print patterns for 1 kid and then using your solids for 1 kid and snapping them according to whichever kid you're using them for, so that when you are grabbing a diaper, when you have 2 kids, you're like, oh God, I don't have time to think. So just grab a diaper real quick, throw it on them. And then if you want, you can alternate the next.
I had a girl, like when you have a boy the first time, you're all like boy things, and it's fine. But then you have a girl, and as much as you still want to stay true to boy things, you just get sucked into the world of pink.
It's so true.
And so, we definitely, Anna had like anything that was pink and purple, I gave to Anna. And it made it easier for my husband as well. And then for my son was anything blue and green. Yeah. We had done similar. Yeah. And like, I'm a print lover, so I have maybe 4 solids in my entire stash.
Yeah.
But I like that idea as well. It's a good choice.
Do you especially have a
favorite print. Don't make me. I can't. No, I can't.
It's too many choices.
It's too many choices. I'm probably my favorite print right now. So I work for Nuggles, and she has her Bloom or Blush. Her vintage blush is a peony print, and I should talk to her about like if I could get it as a wallpaper. I really love it. I have like pants in it. I have clothing in it. I have everything.
That's awesome.
It's like it's a peonies, and peonies were my wedding flower. So it's like,
oh, that's perfect.
Definitely my all-time. So what brands make up your stash, and what is your favorite diaper in your stash?
Oh
but God. You have 2 different kids, so I could you prefer one to one kid and another for another.
Yeah. So actually, the 2 primary companies I have most of, I kind of have miscellaneous stuff. I mentioned Thirsties, but I only have a few Thirsties covers. I primarily have Little Helpers, which I love. Those are actually the first ones that I ordered myself because their first generation diapers were actually 2 of the ones that my friend sent me. In her box, and I loved them, and they're just so versatile and really easy to use. I think especially for somebody who wants the versatility of having inserts, but is not used to cloth diapering yet and doesn't want to necessarily go outright for an all-in-one.
They're really
Nice.
yeah, they're a really nice system. And for listeners listening, like I'm gonna like shout out that I did chat with Mohammed last January, and so there is a podcast with Little Helpers to hear his story, which is absolutely beautiful brand.
Yeah, I absolutely love their customer service is phenomenal too.
Yeah.
So, I mean, nothing but good things about Little Helpers. And then my equally favorite company is Nerdy Mamas. So,
yes, and Anna, another beautiful soul out there too.
yes, I am a massive nerd and she is amazing. Yeah. Their diapers are amazing. So yeah, nothing but good things to say about her company, and just her customer service is amazing too.
So those are two very different fitting diapers in my opinion.
Yes.
So does that mean that you tend to use the Little Help? I'm going to assume the Little Helpers on your daughter and the Nerdy Mamas on your son.
Yeah, so actually I use Little Helpers on both of them, usually during the day. And then I use Nerdy Mamas all-in-ones at night.
Yeah, that does look like an absorbent diaper.
Yeah, that diaper is absolutely amazing. I didn't think it was possible. So Little Helpers does a really good job if I add in their boosters for overnight, but it's kind of nice just to have everything all in one. I never thought I was going to use all-in-one diapers, honestly, when I first started cloth diapering, because another thing that you run into with, you know, 2 under 2 or twins or triplets or whatever is you don't have a lot of time to wait for these things to dry.
No.
So I was afraid that all-in-ones were going to take way too long to dry, because I had seen so much online, like, oh, they take forever to dry, whatever. But I decided to try Nerdy Mamas out because I love their prints, and I liked how the inserts weren't completely sewn in and how they kind of flip out.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it drastically decreases the drying time. So it makes all-in-ones totally usable for somebody who doesn't have, you know, a lot of time to wait for a traditional all-in-one to finish drying.
Well, and I think that's like the beauty of the cloth diaper industry is for every con out there, somebody has tried to make it better.
Exactly.
That's something that Anna has definitely done with that all-in-one. I have her all-in-one, but I actually don't think that I got to use it on my kid before she potty trained. But it's a great diaper. Like in hand, I can tell that it's got some good.
Yeah, it's amazing. And so my boy Lucien, he is a very heavy wetter, and I was amazed the first night we had him in that all-in-one, it lasted him pretty much the entire night. And then if I add in the Little Helpers, you know how they have those bamboo inserts, the boosters, I guess they call them. So if I add that booster in, it lasts him the entire night. Awesome. No question. So yeah, that's what I do for him. And then with my girl, with Amelie, she just needs the Nerdy Mama's diaper that lasts her the entire night. So she's not as heavy of a wetter.
Yeah, that it's awesome to be able to have a nighttime solution and have been able to find it within 7 months.
Yeah, definitely. And that was useful for the road trip too, because you know, you don't want to constantly be stopping to deal with compression leaks and just wet diapers, a mess.
There's nothing, I travel a lot with my kids, and there's nothing worse than being like, you hit the 2-hour mark and I'm like, oh, I need to change the diaper, but your kid finally fell asleep.
I know.
And so you just keep driving until they wake up, and 5 hours pass by and you're like, oh, that was definitely not a diaper for that long of a sleep.
Yeah, exactly. And then they're mad. So
yeah, that was really good. Did you find traveling with twins a challenge? Diapering twins?
Not really, honestly. And we did use disposables a little bit at the beginning because they were so tiny. Twins, are oftentimes premature. And I know that a lot of diapers say, oh, well, we have a newborn hack you can use if your baby is under 7 pounds. And that's true.
Still tiny though.
Yeah, they're so tiny. So we used the disposables that the hospital sent home with us, and then basically switched over. So honestly, I'm kind of like getting totally off topic now, but I'm more used to cloth diapering basically than using disposables. So for me traveling, it wasn't that weird using cloth diapers versus disposables.
That's a great answer. I mean, I think when any parent is planning to cloth diaper, we run through all these scenarios and they'd be like, well, I can't do it then and I can't do it then.
Mhm.
why bother, right? But you're just saying like it's just become part of your life. Like you can't imagine.
Not doing it.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's true. And I mean, people also seem to have this, all or nothing mentality about cloth diapering. And honestly, if you're interested in cloth diapering and you don't think you want to cloth diaper while you're traveling, or if your kid's in daycare or whatever, you don't have to cloth diaper 100% of the time.
Right, exactly. You don't. And like I might host a Cloth Diaper podcast show and a blog and all these things, and probably 4 times a year we go through a package of disposables because there are moments in life where it just needs to be a little different.
Yeah.
And that's
Yeah.
okay.
And no need to feel bad about it or, feel like, oh, well, I'm not a quote unquote cloth diapering parent because
No.
I used one bag of disposables that one time we were, traveling across the country or whatever.
Yeah.
Like, no, you're allowed to do that. Anything counts, any disposable that you don't use
It's such a
counts.
weird mentality that we get into in motherhood that things have to be all or nothing, but
Yeah,
there's so much
we're
beauty
stressed
in,
enough.
yeah, blending it all. What has been the biggest stress for you in that regard for cloth diapering? Have you had any of that? You're only 7 months in.
Yeah, only 7 months in, so it hasn't been too bad. The biggest transition, I would say, I don't know if it's necessarily, actually, I guess it kind of is a challenge when we first introduced solids.
Yeah.
So to the little ones, because they were breastfed, so we didn't have to deal with rinsing poop off of diapers until they started eating solids, really.
Mm-hmm.
We didn't have a diaper sprayer, and that's one like tip that I would give people who have twins or multiples in general who are cloth diapering is to invest in a diaper sprayer. It's not necessary, but with 2 or more kids in cloth diapers, it's, at least for me, it's nice to have the sprayer to deal with it. And we didn't have that at first. And that was probably the biggest challenge. And honestly, that's the biggest challenge traveling for me too, was dealing with poop because the babies had just transitioned to trying out solids. So we had to flush the poop and everything. So I was basically scraping poop off with like disposable, or like plastic or disposable silverware. So that was not the most glamorous look for me in front of my family.
That's exactly what I was going to say. I was like, that's glamour, Sophia.
And I know, yeah, glamour. Totally amazing. I was like, I promise we have a sprayer at home. It's so much easier.
Oh, yeah. Especially when other people are like, what are you doing? Why would you do that all the time? When I travel, I don't really enjoy disposable liners. I have a hard time incorporating them into my lifestyle. But when I travel, it is the one thing that I do use. I use a disposable liner.
I actually was curious about them. I've never tried them, but I have heard. I think I saw them actually on Little Helper's website.
Yeah, I just have a hard time remembering to put them into the diaper. It's just like if it's not already a habit, then it's like it's trying to remember to add that habit into your life can be kind of a challenge. But disposable liners when I travel, just because then you kind of like lift the poop off, I shake off whatever can go in the toilet, and then I check it.
That would have been a good idea. That would have been a good idea. Yeah, exactly.
Especially when you're in that like peanut butter poop stage that you're kind of in right now, where it's just kind of like, ugh.
Yeah. And the sprayer deals with it no problem, but when you have to actually swish it around, like it's not going to come off with just, flushing and swishing. But the other thing that my family forgot about or just didn't know about was, well, even if you have a disposable diaper, you're supposed to flush the solids down the toilet anyway. So I know a lot of people don't.
Landfill for 500 years being disgusting.
Exactly. Yeah. Like, I know most people don't do this, but technically, even if you're using disposables, you're supposed to get rid of the poop in the toilet. So
there was a Thanksgiving learning experience, I take it.
Oh my gosh, yeah, no, for sure. But it wasn't terrible because my aunt I was staying at her place and there was laundry right there and she didn't care. Before we left, obviously I asked, do you mind if we wash diapers in your laundry? And she's run a daycare before, so she's like, you know what?
Kids are gross.
Yeah,
there.
Totally fine. So I was lucky, and my family has been super adaptable actually, and they've actually gotten into just learning about more cloth diapering stuff because my grandma they only had cloth diapers when she was diapering. So I think for her to see how much it's changed.
Oh yeah, from big gauze flats to like these really super trim.
Yeah, with cute patterns and like really bright colors and stuff. She gets a kick out of it. And my mom, who has been a huge help with me and the twins, she was probably the most tentative about cloth diapering. And since she's basically another caretaker of them, I had to convince her that it would be a good idea. And so once I got the box of cloth diapers for my friend, I showed her, I was like, look, it's so much easier. I promise we can do it. There were a few pockets in there too. And she wasn't super keen on the pockets, but now that we've gotten into the peanut butter poop phase, I totally see the value of pocket diapers. So
that's like the only time I think a pocket diaper is worthwhile.
Yes. Yeah. I never liked pockets until now because there's less components that you have to worry about rinsing. But yeah, I guess that just goes to show you that like it's good to try out every type of diaper.
That it's not much different than cloth diapering a singleton, and that you've like bringing people on has been a little bit of a challenge, but just like being able to show them how much it's changed has been really helpful for you. And that's so great, because I know we get a lot of people get a lot of pushback from their family about cloth diapering, and I think if they were to say twins, they'd be like, "Girl, slow down." But it really can be kind of the same as a singleton experience per se, just more diaper load of laundry. Like you're still the same learning curves, it's still the same challenges, but it's manageable.
And I actually did time myself. I forgot on my Instagram page, I was curious to see how long it took me to fold my basically entire stash, like how I normally would, just by myself. And it wasn't that long,
I think I could do a stash in like 4.5 minutes. And I was like, we all got 4.5 minutes.
Yeah, it's not that bad, especially if you have help too. So a lot of the times my husband or my mom will, help me out with whatever laundry we have, and with them helping, it's even less time. So it's not that big of a deal. And even if you don't have that extra help, it's definitely doable. Just throw in an extra load of laundry and that's it.
And I know I've talked with other guests on the show that when it does become, if it ever does become too much, like those are times that you can take a break and like,
totally.
Or you can like do it casually. If with two babies, you might find that maybe, you did 4 cloth diapers a day, or you just use disposables at night. Like it's not all or nothing. You are doing it. You're doing pretty all, but it doesn't have to be all for everybody's story. Definitely. And so you've written a blog post about this topic.
Yeah, I have a couple blog posts. So it's a new blog, and to be honest, I haven't updated it in a couple of weeks because of the holidays, but the blog is naturallynerdymommy.com.
Okay.
So it's funny because I found Nerdy Mamas after I made this blog. So when I found them, I was like, wow, like that is crazy. But yeah, so basically incorporating different elements of my personality and just the way I live, I guess my lifestyle. It's basically like a lifestyle blog, but a lot of like mom lifestyle blogs I was finding were a little bit more like fashion oriented or DIY oriented and things like that, which is awesome. I love those too. But for me, I'm into video games, I'm into fantasy, I'm into history and archaeology, and also about being a little bit more environmentally friendly by
you got a whole basket of interesting things there, Sophia.
Yeah, I know. There's a lot. It's a lot to unpack, but basically my blog is like a mom blog, like a lifestyle mom blog like you'd expect to see, but just instead of having like shopping and stuff like that inserted in there, insert like nerd culture.
Okay. And so I will link your blog in our show notes. So if anybody's looking for it and you forget, just go to the Cloth Diaper Podcast website and it will be there. And then you're also naturally.nerdy.mommy on Instagram?
Yep.
Anywhere else people can find you, or you want people to find you on the web?
Well, I'm on Facebook, but definitely Instagram is probably the better social media account to follow me on. I also have a Pinterest if anybody's on Pinterest. Also Naturally Nerdy Mommy.
I'll have to find you on Pinterest. have a
Yeah.
to-do list this afternoon.
I love Pinterest. So, but yeah, I have 2 blog posts right now up on cloth diapering on my blog. One of them is just the basics and it's kind of looking at all the different types of cloth diapers. And then the second one is what I find are essentials for my own personal habits with cloth diapering, things like wet bags. I also use cloth wipes. So just everything that goes along with cloth diapering that isn't just the diapers.
Awesome. Well, there you go, right? Like it's possible. You're a mom of multiple, and you're not the only mom of multiples cloth diapering. Cloth
No,
diaper
definitely not.
friends. I think there's somebody just had triplets on in the cloth diaper community on
Oh my
Instagram,
gosh.
and is cloth diapering her triplet girls. So
That
totally,
is awesome.
but it's doable. And like you
Yeah.
mentioned here in the show, like eventually it begins to just feel like your lifestyle, and
Hmm.
you can't really imagine doing anything else. I can remember like going to the store for a package of disposables for the first time and just being overwhelmed.
It feels
Uh,
weird.
it's weird, and it can be very different, and it's just like it's a mindset game really.
It's like, what
Like
size do I get? I don't know.
mhm.
Like, what?
Yeah,
Yeah.
what size do you get, what style do you get, what brand do you get, and I mean we ask all those questions also in the cloth diapering world, but just start somewhere.
Mhm.
And you're so blessed to have had someone send you a box of diapers,
I know. That
and just
was
being
what
able
really
to,
started it.
yeah, to touch and feel is such a great experience, I think.
Definitely. So yeah, if anybody listening has, friends that cloth diapered or just go online, I feel like the online cloth diapering community can be really
Oh yeah,
supportive.
and you never know where you might find somebody in real life too. Like I know I've gone online and then been able to meet moms locally to me.
Yeah, no, totally. And yeah, a lot of on Facebook, I know there's a lot of, local groups. Like for us,
Yeah.
we have one in our town. And there was actually somebody the other day asking, are there any cloth diapering moms out there? Do you have any recommendations? So there were tons of responses. That's a
Yeah.
great starting point. Yeah.
Awesome. Well, that's about all I have for today's show. I had a great time chatting with you. I just did a quick short show, but thank you
Yeah.
for taking the time out of your Sunday. I am so grateful for Sophia. I think that show was relatable for everybody. It was a great story in cloth diapering from a parent's perspective. If you are a great storyteller and you want to share your story, or you're just a mediocre storyteller, I don't care. I will be taking Cloth Diaper Podcast guests again in February. So keep watching on Instagram and Facebook at Cloth Diaper Podcast for when I release my new openings. Right now, I am still wearing a cast boot from my second surgery on my bunion. And so I just can't really do anything. But this was a great conversation with Sophia. Again, the show notes are at clothdiaperpodcast.com/show-38. You can find all the show notes from previous shows as well as additional information. My Cloth Diaper podcast, so my Cloth Diaper mom shirt that you might see me watch in my YouTube videos or on Instagram is also available in my Etsy shop. I send up drop shipping through Printful, and you can now order one for yourself in a wide array of colors of your choice. I will also be dropping a How to Cloth Diaper book this year. So I spent all of Christmas break working on this 200-page diagrams and pictures book to get you started with cloth diapering. I hope that it is a great resource, and you will just need to keep watching. I'm hoping that I can drop a digital copy by the end of the month. Thanks.